Yes, sir.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರಗಳು.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
Thank you.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಸರ್.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank Professor Nagendraswamy sir for having introduced me to all the participants in this session. And I would also like to welcome you all formally for this online session. And for the next 75 minutes roughly, I would like to discuss with you. Recording. Okay, dear participants, there was a small setting need to be done. The technical person has just now completed that. And let's continue our discussion today in this session. As I already mentioned, for the next 75 minutes, I would like to discuss with you on the topic importance of ICT in education and teaching learning process. And before I get into the presentation, I just wanted to get some information from you if possible. Actually, when I was told about today's session, actually Professor Nagendraswamy mentioned that, can I speak on the CBCS system? Then I understand that because you are all the faculty members in various colleges and institutions, and you have already understood the CBCS system because you have already experienced. And also you are quite familiar with the recent national education policy where you understand the curriculum structure and CBCS scheme of education and the importance of CBCS and all those things. Then I thought maybe not that interesting because the participants might have already studied and they have understood. Maybe it could be a kind of a repetition. So then I thought I just gone through the syllabus that has been defined for this workshop. And then I understand a lot of emphasis was on the technology. And then I thought, let me spend some time on the technology, which helps our education system and also the teaching learning process. And later, again, I was told by the director, Nagendraswamy sir, that two experts have already delivered a lecture related to this kind of topic. I don't know whether some of the points what I am covering today has already been discussed by those experts, because I heard that one expert has delivered a lecture on learning management system and also e-content development. And of course, it is very focused, a part of general ICT concept, and where we focus more on learning management system and virtual classrooms and many things as such, and also the e-content development. And what are the activities involved in e-content development and the parameters for e-content development. And of course, it is altogether focusing on how I can design and develop e-content for an online course. Say, for example, I want to introduce a course through a SWAYAM platform, right? So then how can I design a e-content for such a course, and how learning management system supports such kind of courses which are delivered online and recorded online and also assessed online, and altogether according to this national education policy, there is a scope of almost 40% credits can be earned through a Swayam platform or online courses, and that can be credited to a regular curriculum, right? And that is the flexibility introduced in the education system. And whenever you are thinking of providing such kind of platform to the students to make it more flexible, then definitely the learning management system and e-content development plays a very significant role, right? Apart from that, another experts might have discussed about the technology for education, but I don't know what are the points that person has already covered. In case if I know if I am also presenting those things, so please inform me that you have already discussed about those points, so that I need not put more emphasis on that. I can just simply mention it and I can proceed further. And another thing I would just make it very clear is I have just prepared this material referring some textbook and web sources. And of course, we have a lot of content. Maybe even we can discuss for more than 2 hours. I have kept some points which are very general and self-explanatory. And I'm sure that all of you are very familiar, but just for the sake of continuity and completeness, I have included those points. And I don't think we need to spend more time on that for a discussion, right? So with these points and a background, let me start the session. The title of this lecture is Importance of ICT in Education and Teaching Learning Process. So before I proceed, let's look at this statement. I understand that it is very meaningful. Every interaction is an opportunity to learn, right? Only when we are interested in improving rather than proving. So with this meaningful quote, let me proceed further. So overview of my presentation covers education and technology in general, rationale for introducing ICT in education, definition of ICT and ICT literacy, ICT characteristics and its role in the process of education, ICT tools and its influence in learning, e-learning, its characteristics, benefits and platforms, notable initiatives of use of ICT in education, factors that affect the adoption of ICT in education, and potential drawbacks of using ICT in education, followed by summary. So for next 70 minutes roughly, I would like to cover these points, and let me see how many of these points can be discussed to the depth, and because we have a time limitation. So let us look at this statement. The technology will never replace great teachers, but in the hands of great teachers, it is transformational. So definitely many people comment that these technologies are really spoiling the education system or something like that. So definitely, dear participants, any technology will come with benefits, limitations and disadvantages as well. You take any discipline for that matter. It may be an automobile engineering, it may be civil engineering, or it may be computer science engineering, whatever it may be for that matter. Any technology for that matter definitely comes with the advantages and as well as disadvantages. It is in our hand which can make that technology more powerful and more transformational. So when we think in a positive sense, definitely we can find a big change using these technology. That's what this George Couros said with this very meaningful quote. And another important quote I just wanted to share with you today is, we need technology in every classroom and in every student and teacher's hand, because it is the pen and paper of our time, and it is the lens through which we experience much of our world. So definitely when there is an advancement in the technology, we have to accept Nothing is permanent except change, and we have to accept the change. There is no way. So today in this information technology era, right? So definitely the technology has replaced the pen and the paper, and there is no option for us. We have to make use of the technology, and we try to minimize the disadvantages of the technology and maximizes the benefits. So information and communication technology can impact student learning when teachers are digitally literate and understand how to integrate it into the curriculum. So with these quotes, let me continue what exactly is the education and the technology. Of course, many of you are already very much familiar with this because you know what is education, what is technology, and you've already been experienced this from the past few years, I'm sure. But still, I just wanted to review this once again for the sake of continuity. Education is the driving force of economic and social development in any country. Considering this, it is necessary to find ways to make education of good quality accessible and affordable to all using the latest technology available. So even today, we have achieved a lot of technological advancements, and we talk about the developed nation, right? And a lot of progress has been done. But even today, when you look at the survey, the enrollment ratio for higher education is very less. According to the statistics, only 27% of the students are enrolling for a higher education. Why this dropout ratio? And also, we cannot expect that all such students will get a good quality, accessible, and affordable material as far as their higher education is concerned. But one solution to that is definitely the technology, which can ensure that everyone can get a good quality, of course, with equality and accessible and affordable with the technology. So with this comment, integration of information and communication technologies in higher education is essential for importing easily accessible, affordable, and quality higher education, leading to the economic upliftment of the India. So definitely, because we talk about that, the today's generation is the asset of the nation. If they think in a constructive way or a positive way, and if they are aware of the technology, right, definitely they can change, they can bring a big change in the society and in all dimensions. So definitely they need a good education. So we can import such a high quality education through the technology, which in turn helps us to uplift the India or the nation. And this is what I was talking about, the participation of Indian students in education. According to some economic survey very recently, the stages of education and the enrollment ratio. Of course, for elementary, we have 97% and above enrollment ratio. But for secondary, it has dropped down to 57%. But when it comes to higher education, it is 27%. Why is this? So definitely, it is a very important challenge for the government or for the nation. Why there is a dropout in higher education? What happens to those students who have graduated, whether they have become self-employed and whether they have become entrepreneurs or what they do, whether they are doing any other job? So no proper information. So definitely, when we look at this enrollment ratio, it is not satisfactory. So the participation rates of the Indian population in education and especially in higher education are quite low. So with this, now let's look at the four main rationale for introducing ICT in education, keeping this point in mind. The first one is the social, that is perceived role that technology now plays in society and the need for familiarizing students with the technology. And it is very important that we need to make students to understand the technology. Of course, today the smartphone has revolutionized our day-to-day life, and many students, because of the smartphones and all, they are quite familiar with the technology. But still, when it comes to the education, the students definitely need a more focused and more information regarding how they can make use of the device, means a smartphone or a technology, for a constructive purpose, for their growth, for their progress, and particularly the education. And another is the vocational, preparing students for jobs that require skills in the technology. So because today more and more jobs are technology driven, right? Even if you go to an office, you will find a desktop and other gadgets where the people have to use those technology and their gadgets to communicate. Wherever you go, you can see in the bus or in the supermarket or in the even the street vendors who are selling vegetables, they also have a QR code, right, where you can scan the QR code and you can pay, right? So to that extent, we need a technology today, and the students must aware of those skills, right? Because today all students can keep all their academic documents in a DigiLocker. So how can they keep it? How can they manage it? And how can they retrieve? So those technology or the details about the technology is very much important, right? At the same time, apart from that also there are certain threats, right? And how to handle those threats? Maybe it is a cyber crime, or it may be a duplication of information or the data. How to identify, how to overcome those things? So definitely such knowledge and skills are very much important for the students and for everyone. And another very important thing is the catalytic, that is utility of technology to improve performance and effectiveness in teaching, management, and many other social activities. So definitely in the coming slides, I have included some information regarding this, and we will see how we can improve the performance and effectiveness of teaching, management, and many other social activities by making use of the technology. And another is the pedagogical, to utilize the technology in enhancing learning, flexibility, and efficiency in curriculum delivery. So definitely I have included some very important points, keeping in mind the teachers, the students, right, and also the administrators, right, how the technology supports and how these stakeholders can benefit out of technology as far as learning and management is concerned. So with this, now let's look at the definition of ICT. As we all know that I stand for information and C stands for communication and T stands for technology. So it is a generic term referring to the technologies which are being used for collecting, storing, editing, and passing on information in various forms. And of course, this is not new to us, because after COVID, all of us are quite familiar with this ICT. And even earlier also, we were quite familiar, but very recently we have become more familiar with this technology, because we understand how to store the data, how to edit, and how to send the data, right, across different media, right? And definitely today WhatsApp has become a very common platform for us, right, where we store the data, we edit, and definitely we can share the information across different groups. That's one of the examples how ICT is influencing our day-to-day activity, and how it helps us, or how it makes our activity more convenient, right? So we should think always in a constructive way and a positive sense. So with this, the importance of ICT literacy. To be effective in the 21st century, citizens must be able to exhibit functional and critical thinking skills, because it is inevitable that we have to acquire that. Otherwise, we cannot survive in this advanced IT era. So ICT literacy basically involves using digital technology, communication tools, and our access, manage, integrate, evaluate, and create information in order to function in a knowledgeable society, right? So today, wherever you go, because even you can take an example that the farmers can get their RTC through a Bhumi software, and even the farmers can identify their land boundaries through a Dishang software, right? And many issues which were there, right, could definitely be addressed through the technology, right? So many of you are quite aware of all these technologies. Earlier, if a farmer wants to get RTC, Pahani, or any land related documents, they have to go to the offices and they have to request the people and office people there, and they need to spend more than a week, and even after that also they were not able to get the required or relevant documents, right? And a lot of manipulations were there. But today, nothing to worry about it, right? Because the technology has a direct interaction or interface with the stakeholders, and if they know the technology without depending on anybody, they can get whatever the documents they need without paying a single NP, without requesting anybody for that matter, because the technology is before you, in front of you. If you know how to get it, you can definitely do it. So to that extent, the technology has revolutionized our day-to-day life and our lifestyle. Look at here, even many times we call the farmers are not literates. Even then, literates in the sense, the computer literates I'm talking about. Of course, they are literates, but when it comes to the computer literates, even though they do not have much knowledge, but with exposing those farmers to technology, digital technology can definitely help them to get whatever they want. And still a lot more things are there to achieve in many sectors. It could be agriculture sector, or it could be a business sector, or education, or science and medicine, etc. Any discipline or any sector you name, definitely the digital technology and communication can definitely play a significant role, and can overcome many problems and limitations what we are experiencing today.
Sir, I want to make a submission here. As you mentioned,
Yes, sir.
the Bhumi records or the something you mentioned here.
Yes,
So,
sir.
as the people farmers literates, when it comes to the digital literacy, not familiar with the digital literacy. So, the one such case is, hello?
Yes, sir. Please, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Please.
Yes, sir. One such case is very recently I encountered my own land issue where the land had gone for a NHAI, National Authority, Highway Authority of India,
Yes, sir.
where they had manipulated manually in the blueprint and the planning and everything. When you said, when I checked through the eBhumi and Disha, so where I got the exact land which has gone for the National Highway Authority of India, and how much land has been manipulated by the official on the physical papers, where digitally I got the exact land, how much it has been acquired by the NHAI. So where this is how we are digitally being supported by the technology.
Yes, sir. Definitely, sir. Even we also experienced many such things, sir. And that is
Yeah.
how, when, because when a person makes a survey in front of you and everything is fine, then you can verify whether that much correct information has been recorded. And once it has been recorded, I am sure that they cannot make any changes. And definitely we can also have a filters and the control that it cannot be easily manipulated as such, which normally were doing earlier, right? Yes, sir. Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Your really is very, very important, and you have shared a very good insights with our participants. And definitely.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for commenting on this. Right. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Definitely. With this experience and with this point now, let us look at the importance of ICT. Right. The first and very important objective is education for everyone. ICT provides the flexibility and availability of learning material to all students. So definitely today, if at all you want to get a good material earlier, so we used to search for a good material because there was no proper idea. Because even I experienced myself when we were carrying out our research in the year 2002 and 2003, to get any journals or any material related to our research, we used to go to Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and we have to get a prior appointment, and we should have all security check there, and we should go there, and just to get a few pages of journal we used to spend almost a day, right? Even then we could not sometimes get the materials of our interest because there was no provision for us to search through and get the relevant information. So that's how we used to spend a lot of time. But today the scenario has been changed, because a lot of e-journals are made available online, and if you have access to them through any prescription, then definitely you can log on and you can search for the recent articles, and definitely you can get. That's just an example, but definitely today, because of many platforms like Swayam, MOOCs and all, we can make sure that everyone can get education of good quality. There is no bias at all. Whatever the material that has been prepared for a top class community, or we can say the top class people, because many times we comment that The people who are studying in Stanford University or Michigan State University or Harvard University, they're all the top class people, right? But many times because of affordability, because of the distance, we may not be able to get that level of education. But today, it's not a barrier, because whatever the lecture that has been delivered in those universities can be recorded, can be made available even for a common man. So without paying much fee for that, we can get that material, right? So that's just an example, but even we can take even normal like universities and institutions and etc. So for those students who cannot attend the regular classes because of many reasons, right? Maybe because of the financial conditions and because of the economic status and many things as such, but still we can provide a good education for even such class of students. So that's how ICT provides the flexibility and availability of learning material to all students. So efficient teachers training, the professional training is essential for the continuous development of the teachers. ICT helps trains teachers in their own institutes through online learning. And this session is one such good example where the teachers are getting online training. And definitely, because of many reasons, it may not be convenient for you to personally come attend the classes for a week or for 2 weeks, because you're all in responsible positions in your institutions or in your family. So maybe you can manage both very efficiently, right? So you'll be having classes maybe for 4 hours a day, morning 2 hours and afternoon 2 hours. Apart from that, you can get back to your regular work in your office or your institute, or even you can look after your family as well. So that is the flexibility we can think of. At the same time, you can also get a professional training. Maybe definitely in case if you think that a hands-on training or in-person training is also required, then definitely we can think of a blended mode where we can offer a flexibility to the participants that they can learn the theoretical concepts in their place, and they can come for hands-on training to physical mode and they can learn. So even with advancements in the technology, even such virtual reality experiments can be conducted online very effectively and efficiently. I will show you some examples little later. So to that extent, if we think of a full-fledged technology support, even definitely we can create a virtual reality environment and we can give a better training to the teachers. And this is one of the importance of ICT. And higher knowledge retention, that visual learning is more effective for students than a regular chalk and talk. ICT equips audiovisual teaching methods which boost learners' knowledge, retention, and interest levels. I have a survey information which I can share with you, where the people made a survey and accordingly they have commented on the attention, retention, understanding, motivation, and behavior of the students if we incorporate ICT tools in our. Excuse me, madam. Please unmute, madam. Sorry, mute. Okay, thank you. And another thing is encourages collaboration, and definitely ICT lets us collaborate with any institute in any part of the world. This considerably saves time and resources while giving access to collaborations with some of the best institutions. So because many of you have already completed your PhD degree, program, and you have awarded with a PhD degree. And many of you are guiding students and some of you are pursuing your PhD degree. So definitely across the globe today, the people are working on a similar problem, but the solution could be different. But definitely we can interact with them. That's a peer-to-peer interaction is there and community groups are there. And through that, the like-minded people who are working on a particular domain or a particular problem can share their knowledge. So definitely working together will definitely enhances the efficiency of the work. So definitely we can contribute much when we work as a team rather than individual. So this ICT definitely supports such kind of collaboration across the globe, not only in India, even across the globe also you can have a collaboration. We also have a collaboration with a Russian institute, right? Moscow State University, and also we have a collaboration with Honghai University of China, right, and many other universities, and we are conducting classes online, and we are having discussions online related to our research and also the normal courses which you are offering here. So definitely this ICT supports that kind of collaborations, because we can conduct it, and distance and time is not at all a barrier for us today. And then the another very important thing is the improves the transparency. Right now, look at this point. The data can be shared with the institution authorities, students, and other teachers, and also the parents. So now today, almost all schools are upgraded to the digital technology. Even in the government schools, also you can find the desktop systems and the smart boards. Right, the government has took initiative, and they just wanted to upgrade the schools, but still a lot more things to be done. We understand, because budget is the criteria for any government to bring altogether a big change in the education sector, start from primary education to the higher education. But still, definitely, if we try to incorporate this ICT, it definitely improves the transparency. And data stored using ICT can also serve as a proof for any action the institute takes. And this eliminates uncomfortable questions and allegations, as all actions are based on the proof. In that sense, that ICT gives a transparency and also safeguard us when we are doing a right job, and we are doing the fact, and we are speaking about the fact, and it's the truth. So definitely ICT is the one such media which can safeguard us in such uncomfortable situations. Another very important thing is learner-centered approach, where ICT supports to create a learning environment for focuses on students. ICT tools address the gap between the teacher and the learner centered environment, because the students can choose their pace and interest, and then definitely personalize the learning, and we will see with a few examples later. The teachers can find adequate supplementary material off the internet for students who acquire extra attention, and every student has a personalized learning experience due to ICT. Because many times you have heard from your institutions at that in a class of 60 students, right, maybe 30 students are doing well, maybe above average, maybe above first class, and 30 students are not that good, they are below average, and we call them as a slow learners. So how can we support those slow learners so that they can pick up the things very well, and even they can meet our expectations, and they can rise to above average level students, right? So that they can get a very good percentage in the upcoming examination. How we can do it? So definitely we are doing that right now by engaging such students in additional classes, because you have to stay back even after your class hours. If a regular timetable runs up to 5 o'clock, you have to stay back in the institution up to 6 o'clock, and you have to conduct the classes for those slow learner students. Or you have to take extra slots in the timetable, and then you have to do it, right? But definitely it is possible through ICT, where we can identify those kind of slow learners, and we can form a group, and we can support them with additional material, right? Maybe audio lectures or video lecture, additional assessments, and etc. And that can be monitored at our convenient time and a pace. And that's how it supports a learner-centered approach. So with this, here is another example which says the importance of ICT. That's a new teaching methods. ICT is making it possible to adopt new teaching techniques in institutions like a flipped classroom, where students learn their lessons at home and practice them through practical activities in the class. So this is another very interesting technique, and sometimes we also call it as a blended mode. So where the students can do it in many schools, they have already started these kind of things, so that the students can learn faster and they can learn more. So it also boosts the confidence level and the self-esteem of the students who acquire the ICT skills through the process of being exposed to such kind of learning. So definitely, because normally when kids are learning at various levels like pre-KG or UKG or primary or secondary and etc. So definitely when we put all of them together at one level, maybe at SSLC or PUC, so those students who have gained confidence or who are exposed to ICT skills, and definitely they have more confidence, and they can definitely make use of the technology in a better way, and they can mark a significant difference when compared to those students who have not acquired such ICT skills. So that's how it also boosts the confidence level and the self-esteem of the students. So with this comment on the importance of ICT in education, now let's look at some ICT characteristics. The first one is the effectiveness. Definitely it is more interactive, as you have already experienced it, because today we are using all modern tools, right? Animated slides and PowerPoint presentations and very visually eye-catching diagrams, right? It's more interactive, okay? And also definitely because we are using the technology, we can cross-check the material before we deliver, so fewer errors are possible. And customized, depending upon the need, we can tailor it and we can fine tune it for a different class of audience, because we definitely come across with a heterogeneous group, and depending upon their interest and the requirement, we can customize and we can deliver. And it can be personalized as well. Archivable means that can be stored and can be retrieved anytime. It is transparent, as we already mentioned. Everybody will get that equal quality or the same quality material and a chance and affordability and many things as such. And also it is searchable, right? Any piece of information you can search and you can get that information just through a mouse click, that you have already experienced. Whenever you want any information, you just go to the Google search and type your keyboard, and that Google search engine will present before you a lot of material you can search through and you can get. And even you can make it much more personalized by putting some filters that many of you are already aware of it. Another thing is the efficiency. So definitely you agree with these parameters are the characteristics. The faster, the cheaper, fewer steps, less people and less paperwork. So I need not explain all these things, and these are the very important characteristics which you have already experienced having familiar with ICT. And another is the new innovation, that is new products and the new technology, right? Every I mean, when the technology advances, new products will be getting to the market, and definitely we can think of making use of those products. And those advanced products and new products will always come with more features, right? And that's how it's an innovation. So new products and the new technology. So with this, ICT as a tool in the process of education, right? I just sum up the ICT as a tool in the process of education. It can be used as an informative tool where it provides a vast amount of data in various formats such as audio, video, and documents. So we call it as a multimedia content. You have already experienced this multimedia content. A situating tool where it creates a situations with the student experiences in real life, and thus simulation and virtual reality is possible, right? So you will see some example animations, GIF, which I can show you how the physics experiments and mathematical concepts and chemistry experiments, or even geography and botany, those subjects can be taught by creating a real scenario, so that the students can learn very comfortably, and also they can involve and they can engage in a learning process. So simulation and virtual reality is possible with the ICT situating tool. And another is the constructive tool, the process to process the data and generate analysis. So this also you have already seen, because we have been quite very much familiar with the MS Excel, right? In our Microsoft product, this MS Office will come with a complementary, and we have experience with the MS Word, PowerPoint, MS Excel, and MS Access. With an MS Excel, when we put the data into the table, and if at all we want to transfer the data to a form which we can easily comprehend, analyze, and make a decision, so we can definitely do it just by simple steps. We can convert the data into a bar graph and a pie graph or a line graph, right? And we can do a lot of analysis by transforming the text data into a visual form. So that definitely helps us to take a good decision. And that's what it can be used as a constructive tool to process the data and generate the analysis. And definitely it can be used as a communicative tool where it removes the communication barriers such as that of space and time, right? So definitely we are very much constrained by space and time. So such constraints can be overcome to some extent by using this ICT as a communicative tool. So some of the ICT tools I would like to share with you. I don't know whether other experts have already discussed about these tools, right? In case if that expert has already discussed about this, you please let me know. Otherwise, I just give only a few points on this and we can quickly move on to the next important point. So one such ICT tool is a Blackboard. It's a popular teaching tool that comes with numerous capabilities where teachers can easily administer, test, monitor performance, manage syllabus, and even upload grades. Maybe many of you have explored this during your COVID period where we had to conduct the classes online and manage everything, right? So at those situations, definitely these kind of tools were made a remarkable change in our education pedagogy and also helped a lot to handle the risk at the time. And another is a Google Classroom. Many of you have already heard about it and you might have used it. It's a virtual classroom that makes learning easy and fun. Teachers can integrate educational apps or websites and create interactive assignments. So please just, you can just explore it and you can get an experience how you can transform your traditional classroom into a Google Classroom. So definitely it gives you more convenience, right? Even though you are taking classes offline physically in the institute, so definitely you can make use of this and you will find some very important features which is very much convenient to you. And also another is the Trello. It's a collaborative tool that is used widely in IT companies with large teams. It has several applications for educators as well. It supports project-based learning for students. Then Microsoft Teams, it's a Microsoft Office 365 product. One can host meetings, chart, share files, and use every Microsoft Office app using Teams. So this also you might have experienced because during COVID period, we used Zoom link or Zoom meeting, Google Meet, WebEx, Microsoft Teams. So all these tools we have used to conduct the online classes and also to hold meetings and to make good decisions, right? So that's how, but we have explored only a few features, but lot many features are there. Then definitely it's worth exploring these kind of tools which supports our education system and teaching learning process. So online coding websites such as DataCamp, Hacker, Rank, CoderByte can also be used. So maybe if the participants are from a computer science background, definitely you can think of this because it's more into implementation like coding websites and etc. And even others can also try. But if you are familiar, then it's fine. Otherwise, you may have to learn a little bit about the coding and other technical subject, okay, in order to understand these things. So with this, now when it comes to the subject specific tools, I just wanted to share some points regarding ICT tools for teaching geography. Now look at here, a Google map. With Google Map, kids can learn to find the distance between two places and to cut 360-degree images of places. This can help students become familiar with multiple locations across the world. So this we are already familiar. In addition to this, we have another tool called Google Earth. You can see here the Google Earth photo. And this tool shows the entire Earth with every location and supports an amazing zoom feature where kids can learn about different regions, land masses, and water bodies in a fun way. So here I have a link. You please try this link at home because it may take few minutes. I don't want to do it right now because of the time constraint. So you can see this is another very important tool where the geography faculties can use and teach their students regarding the subject very effectively and very efficiently, and students can find interest and involve in learning process, right? And here is an example tool for mathematics. One is called a configure it geometry. And this tool makes learning geometry pretty easy. We can teach kids about several mathematical proofs and theorems in an engaging way. So many times when we were learning mathematics, definitely we have studied like trigonometry and polar coordinates and integration, derivation and all. But we did not know where all these concepts are used, because we were not exposed to practical sessions or real life examples as such, right? But now the scenario has been changed. Okay, because the recent generations and the speed at which the education is growing, and it's very much important that we need to expose students how these concepts can be used. Then only we can see something that such students can contribute to the subject or to the technology. So that's how with these kind of tools we can definitely give much more information. Okay, so we can explain them how polar coordinates work and how we can use this concept, right? And similarly we can explain what is a Cartesian plane, right, or multidimensional vectors and etc. So those concepts can be very well taught, and some of the very important proofs can be very well demonstrated to the students through these kind of visualization with the support of this tool, which would otherwise will become just only a derivation where the students can do the derivation, but they may not understand the real life application of those ideas. Okay, so that's where I understand that these tools really play a significant role in contributing to the teaching learning process. And here is another example reports for a class 1 mock where the students can understand an activity like isosceles triangle and different types of triangles and geometry, and the student a mock, and then the theorem error and I am struck errors and etc. They can log where the teacher can instruct them at his convenience, or the even students can learn at their convenience by making use of these tools. And here is another example of configurative geometry tool where you can show the perpendicular lines and two tangents, right? And many geometric concepts can be very well explained with these visualizations. Another example mathematics tool is the Q thing, where we can use this tool to teach kids how to solve mathematical problems in 4 steps, like understand, plan, solve, and review. So you can explore much more by making use of this tool, but I'm just presenting before you only this much information. So please explore if you found interesting and if the participants are from mathematics discipline. So example, definitely to teach physics, we have electrons. It's a one such tool. It's a charged particle simulator, which allows you to observe particles, interactions, simulate a lighting rod, create a cathode ray tube, and better visualize all those hard to illustrate concepts. Electrons will help students understand the world of electricity and gain a deeper knowledge about it. Because when we understand the subject to the depth, then only we can think of some changes. Otherwise, we cannot incorporate any changes because our thinking level will not be that where we can suggest some changes to the existing concept or ideas. So it could be possible only when we understand the subject to the depth, and that's where this kind of tools helps to such an extent to get more insight into the subject. And another is Bobo Explores Light. It's an app that will help us to demonstrate the properties of light through easy to comprehend visualizations. Another is called the Gravity Lab. It allows you to create your own universe, simulate the collision of massive bodies to explain how momentum is conserved, and see how the first two of Kepler's theory laws of planetary motion work. So these can be visualized and explained to the students very well. And another is called the particle zoo, and this too will help students understand the basic concepts behind the particle physics. And here is an example visualization where you can show it to the students and explain very well the simple harmonic motion animation, right? And you can explain this movement, and also you can relate these equations with those movements so that you can give more clarity to the concept what you are presenting to the students rather than just only do it in terms of derivations and all. Okay, and another example like when you heat any liquid, how it converts into gas form, and any concept related to that can be very well explained. Maybe the students can show the interest and they can engage in learning when you present the concepts in terms of visualization rather than a mere text. Another example is working of muscles, and you can show how body movement with muscles takes place, right? Many times we have a muscle catch, right? So why? So such things can be, knowing about those things are quite interesting. So you can explain to the biology students how the body movement happens with the support of muscles, right? And its importance and many things as such. Okay, so very similarly, we have some tools for teaching chemistry, ChemDraw, ChemSketch, ChemWindow, ChemDoodle, DrawChem, etc. for teaching and research. And cheminformatic programs like Chemist 3D, ChemWriter, JMOL, etc. is extensively used for a molecular design and visualization. And similarly for ICT tools for teaching commerce and management like ERP software, Winman, Tally, ZooBooks, ProfitBook, Canva, Candidly, HubSpot, Freshdesk, and MailerLite. Many more are there, and some of you might have already experienced it. The teachers from commerce background might have already have a familiarity with these tools. And here is an example SAP where you can see enterprise resource planning, financial management, CRM and customer experience, spend management, supply chain management, human capital management, business technology platform, etc. So when you explore this, you will find much more information to the greater level of detail as far as your commerce, management, those subjects are concerned. So you'll be having more insight into the concept and as well as the business and the management. So with this, here is another very, by making use of these high city tools, and when we integrate this in a very efficient way, then definitely we can create an e-learning platform where we try to simulate the classrooms, right? That's what is called virtual classroom or virtual learning, and that's what is e-learning. Okay, so it's a type of learning where internet technologies are used to deliver a broad array of solutions that enhance knowledge, performance, and the students and the teacher interact online in this type of learning. So why e-learning? So there are two great equalizers in life, the internet and education. By combining the two, e-learning will be the great equalizer in the next century by eliminating the barriers of time, distance, and socio-economic status. Individuals can now take charge of their own lifelong learning, and this is what said by the CEO of Cisco Systems, John Chambers. So definitely in future, by incorporating this internet concept, ICT and education, definitely we can bring equality in the society where we can eliminate the barriers of time, distance, and socio-economic status. Anybody can learn anything. With earlier, some class of people were not permitted to learn some subjects, right? So, but today it is not like that. Whoever interested, whatever the subjects they want, they can learn because it is at their end. So such barriers have been removed with the help of the technology, and that's what exactly the e-learning. So with this, if I want to summarize the e-learning, we can see here, e-learning can be as effective as a traditional learning at the lower cost. E-learning reaches a wider target audience by engaging learners who have difficulty attending conventional classroom training. And delivery costs for e-learning are considerably lower than those for a classroom facilities. And e-learning can offer effective instructional methods such as practicing with associated feedback, combining collaboration activities with the self-paced study, personalizing learning paths based on learner needs, and using simulation and games. So we have already commented on this, right? So with these features incorporated into a learning environment, and we call it e-learning, and definitely it offers these advantages and also many more advantages. So all learners receive the same quality of instruction because there is no dependence on any specific instructor as such. Okay. So with this, if at all we want to think of building an e-learning culture, right? What are the stakeholders or what are the entities which are interacting in building such a e-learning culture? So here is a teacher is one such entity or an object, administrator is another actor or an object, then is the learner. So when it comes to the teacher, he is responsible to develop knowledge and skills, understand learning and its need, facilitate learning, create learning opportunities. That is the role of a teacher. And as an administrator, create a learning environment, provide ICT infrastructure, resources for lifelong learning. That is the responsibility of an administrator. And as a learner, we must be self-directed, self-motivated, self-regulating, and lifelong learning. So definitely, when we grow to a certain level, like we are professionals, And also we have we have engaged in teaching profession. So definitely we should get involved in a lifelong learning. So every day we can expect a lot of changes in the technology, a lot of changes in day-to-day scenarios and all. We must be aware of understanding those things, and then we have to educate the learning community or the student community, right? So that's how this teacher, administrator, and a learner, they all share their hands and put their efforts together to build an e-learning culture, and that definitely will be transformational, because in the hands of the great teachers, right, definitely this will be transformational, right? So as a teacher, how this e-learning or ICT improve their tutoring style? So here I just sum up some of the points. Because of time constraint, I may not be going to the depth, but it is self-explanatory. Because you're all teachers, I am sure that you can understand the inner meaning or in-depth meaning of these points. Online platform allow teachers to support their students outside the classroom and to give them additional instructions on subjects like art, singing, chess, and cooking as well. Constant feedback from the students about whether they understand the material, if it is interesting to them, etc. Such feedback can be taken in online, right? Because you are already aware of Google Forms and all. So through that, we can definitely get a feedback, and we can fine tune our teaching and delivery methods accordingly. It offers a greater transparency to the parents in terms of how their children are preparing for school, right? Even the parents will aware of their students and their kids, and whether they are attending classes regularly, what is their progress, and everything can be monitored. And that's what is the transparency supported by this e-learning and ICT. By eliminating the need to commute to school during evenings and weekends, educators can spend more time on learning concept, because most of the time we spend for traveling, right? Because those participants, mean the students who are teachers who are traveling from distant places, because many teachers who are practicing their teaching profession in Mysore, they have to travel from Chamarajnagar or Kollegal or Hunsur or Mandya or even Ramanagar and etc. So definitely you may have to spend every day 2 to 3 hours of your time. So definitely if you make use of the time, and if you put that time for your learning, so definitely you can find a significant change, right? That's what is the meaning here. It can eliminate the need to commute to the school during evenings and weekends. Educators can spend more time on learning concept. Reduced cost when it comes to classroom rentals, travel fee, and printing cost. We can make it greenery. And another very important dimension is how this e-learning and ICT tools supports the teachers to encourage a self-development. So e-learning platforms are helpful in the professional development of the teachers. A teacher can learn various language skills and participates in various in-service training programs and workshops. What you are right now doing is one such example. And e-learning platforms are one of the channels that educators can use to deepen their knowledge and increase their skills. I'm sure that you accept this statement because you already experienced it. Online platforms allow educators to stay connected with the colleagues from all over the world, as well as to share ideas and gain inspiration. That's what is the collaboration. Modern platforms bring more benefits of e-learning to teachers, like the ability to make audio and video recordings of their lessons, and then to watch, analyze, and reflect on the same recording afterwards. Because many teachers who have just completed their master's degree, they just get into this teaching profession. So they may not have an experience, but definitely they can pick up the skills at a faster rate, on an accelerated speed, if they follow these kind of tips. So if at all they want to know how effective their teaching is, whether they are delivering the things properly to the students and all, what best we can do is we can record our lecture sessions, and we can watch ourselves, so that we will be able to understand our limitations, right? Okay, so by doing so, you act as a teacher, at the same time you act as a student. As a student, how you can comment critically on the delivery of your own lecture, and that is possible only when you record it, and when you watch it, analyze it, and correct yourself. So that is possible with a modern platforms, that is through ICT tools and e-learning environment. Observing other educators via different online courses and can compare different teaching styles, practices, and etc. They can become more aware of what kind of teachers they are. Because many times we heard about the great teachers and inspiring teachers. Maybe we can name like Kuempu, Bendre, and many teachers are even many science teachers, right? So we can definitely understand how they were teaching those concepts. Suppose if it has been recorded, definitely we can listen to those great teachers and we can also become such a great teachers. We will be motivated and we will be inspired by them, and we also try to become such great teachers, and that is possible if we do so, and that's what is the meaning of this. All right, and that's how it is supported by the ICT tools. So when it comes to the students community and the teachers community, here are some points I just want to summarize. The option of e-learning allows for the learning experience and opportunity to be available to everyone, anywhere, and in real time. Students can study through different online resources and better understand the topics with interactive and multimedia content. And students can meet teachers online and get required knowledge about the subject. The students can replay video, retake quizzes, and even mini games that have been proven to be helpful with retention rates overall. So definitely, as I already mentioned, that there are some slow learners, right? So for such students, if the session like a lecture by an expert teacher is recorded, and such students can listen to that audio lecture any number of times until he can understand better. But that provision cannot be provided in a traditional classroom environment. We can't expect a teacher to repeat the same lesson every day, right? Or more than 2 times or 3 times. It's not possible. So, but recorded videos, right, can be more useful, and the students can retake quizzes and even the mini games, right? So they can learn the concepts and their retention rate will be definitely improved. The students can easily update the learning material with the new information to make it more relevant to the current trends, and that modifications can be easily done with the support of ICT tools. Students don't have to keep with the same pace as their peers. They can speed up the video if needed. Because definitely the learning quotient or the grasping power of the students will vary. Right? Some students can understand the subject at a faster rate, and such students can quickly cover up the syllabus or whatever the content. So definitely they can find a significant acceleration in their studies, right? So that's how all these things are possible with the support of the technology. It also receives students from any travel and accommodation expenses, means it relieves students from any travel and accommodation experiences. So here I just wanted to present before you some simple visualizations. There's a animated GIF files. Now you can see how a human can take breath and how we can live it. The Uchwasa, Niswasa, what we say, right? That's what how oxygen is taken back and carbon dioxide is released, right? So through our breadth and all. So we can illustrate these things very effectively. The concept can be very well presented to the students through these kind of animations. And here's another example how the internal mechanism of a lock works, right? Many of us are aware of it, but how it works, that we were not aware of it. But if we explain these things to the students, then definitely the creativity level of the students will be enhanced, and we can make them engaged in the learning process. Okay, another example, a cheetah uses its tail to counter torsion and keep balance as it chases its prey. So these are other very interesting observations by the biological teacher, and they can tell the students and make them very well motivated and interesting in learning those concepts. It's another example, like beans tendrils slowly rotate to find solid supports to climb. So this we have never seen, but definitely the experts have identified that through their research, and that can be realized with these examples, so that even a student can easily understand these concepts very well with these animations. And this is another example of a development of the human face in the womb, where a biology teacher can explain to the students in a biology class how the embryo in the womb of a mother grows, and finally, so these concepts can be explained in an interesting way. And another example shows how chains are assembled, right? Look at here. So definitely the kids may love to understand these ideas. like a fun, right? Watching it and understanding the concepts very well. So another example, dogs cup their tongues like this to lap up water. This we have not noticed. Many of us have not noticed. Only the experts might have noticed. But we can explain this to the kids or to the students how even the animals will have that kind of technique and the behavior which is inbuilt by the creative, right? And the creature, right? Okay. So another example is the solar system, right? So because even when we were studying at SSLC and PUC, we were not able to imagine this, right? But today, even the LKG and UKG students can understand this because the technology is like that, right? So we can teach the kids about all these concepts, right? So that they will understand much better. So another example is a Pythagorean theorem. The mathematics teachers can understand the Pythagorean theorem and you can explain to the students, right? So the Pythagorean concepts with this visualization. Right. So with this, some of the top e-learning companies in India, right? So I'm not going to go through this. I just highlight the Baiju, which you're already aware of it. You have seen advertisements in the TV programs and all. Baiju is one such top e-learning company in India, which is headquartered in Bangalore. And another is Dexler Education. Please go through this material, will be available to you. Educamp Solutions, IGNO is there, NIIT is there, EduCort is there, Simply Learn, Jesus Learning, Merit Nation, ExcelSoft. All these are the leading companies who are offering e-learning education in India. So some of the e-learning platforms, MOOCs, massive open online courses, that is Coursera and FutureLearn. Many of you are aware of it. And some of your students have enrolled open elective courses through Swayam MOOCs platform. Another is virtual learning environment such as Learn or Blackboard. Video streaming services such as YouTube, you're aware of it. Virtual instructor-led training, that's WebEx and webinar. Again, you are aware of it. Discussion boards like Facebook and WhatsApp, very familiar. Forums like LinkedIn, ResearchGate, many of you have these kind of forums with you. And podcast, a recorded program of talk, music, and etc. So with this, here are some of the e-learning platforms like Udemy, Udacity, where huge variety of courses, 30-day refund policy, free certificates of completion, nano degree program suitable for enterprises, paid certificates of completion, data camp is there, and similarly edX is there, and one more Coursera, Skillshare, LinkedIn, and also Khan Academy. So these are some of the companies who are offering this MOOCs, courses under MOOCs platform, where the teachers and the students and the professionals who are working and still they want to learn and they have to upgrade their skills and their get progress in their professional life, can definitely, these platforms will help a lot, where they can earn a lot of certificate programs, degrees, online degrees, and with that they can definitely enhance their professional life. So the future of e-learning technology, that is a virtual reality and augmented reality, where these realities will create a 3D interactive environment that users can interact with. I think many of you who have visited Dasara exhibition, there you can see one 12D show. Many of you have already experienced. When you go there, you can see how virtual reality can be created so that as if you feel that you are in that environment, right? So such a environment can be created with the support of technology, and definitely in future this will become very common even to students at any level. So this virtual reality has a lot of potential to boost e-learning and creative interactive learning modules by incorporating 3D graphics with real-world experiences. Here I have mentioned two examples why this kind of virtual reality and augmented reality concepts are very, very important. So, for example, one can create a courses on how to work in a dangerous or a high-risk environment, explore with hazardous material, or perform other complex activities without actually being exposed to such an environment, right? So definitely the medical students and the people who are working in a chemical plants, right, and very dangerous, maybe in a fire department and all, So they can get a better training and better experience, right, without any risk of, without any risk actually, but they will be exposed to a better training through these kind of virtual reality and augmented reality kind of environment and the technology. The medical and healthcare training industry can use VR technology very effectively to train in process and procedures like surgery and other things. The virtual reality environment will allow the learner to try and practice procedures without fearing the negative impact on real patients. Because many times we have heard that the patient died because of more anesthesia given by the doctor to the patient. And even many times we have found that the patients died because not operated properly by the surgeon, right? Because these are the cases where the doctors are not that proficient enough. They have not undergone a sufficient training to do the task very efficiently. So maybe in such cases to provide more exhaustive training, right? So these technologies are very, very useful without any fearing of a negative impact on the real patients. They can understand and they can undergo the training any number of times and make them very sure. And why this 3D or virtual reality concept? Because it's a 3D world, attention is there. I mean, you can draw the attention of the learning community, understanding level can be enhanced, retention can be enhanced, behavior can be controlled, and we can give a motivation. That's why we use 3D in your classroom. But I have some information here. So please go through this, just only the statistics, attention, retention, understanding, and behavior of the motivation, right? So please go through this. It's quite interesting to know these facts, and this is the survey made by the experts regarding this. Okay, with this, we also have various other initiatives by the government. E-Patashala, many of you have already heard about this E-Patashala, where you can find a lot of material where the teachers and students can use it. E-Patashala is there. And another is National Repository of Open Educational Resources developed by CIET and NCRT. And you can find a lot of material related to your subject, and definitely it helps a lot and saves your time, and you can find the best material and use it in your teaching learning process, and definitely you can deliver a good things to the students. It was launched during the National Conference on ICT for School Education, and this National Repository of Open Educational Resources has a large number of educational resources in many subjects and different Indian languages for primary, secondary, and senior secondary classes as well. So resources are available in different formats like video, audio, image, document, and interactive. You please go through it and understand this. And another is the SWAYAM. I need not explain it. I hope you are already familiar with the SWAYAM platform. You please go through it. I have recorded some important points related to this SWAYAM as well. Okay. And apart from this, we also have a Indira Gandhi National Open University, uses radio, television, and internet technologies. And Ekalava initiative, right, where it uses a lot of distance learning material. IIT Kanpur has developed a Brihaspati, an open source e-learning platform. And premier institutions like IIM Calcutta have entered into a strategic alliance with NIIT for providing programs through virtual classrooms. And Jadavpur University is using a mobile learning center. And IIT Bombay has started the program of CD, Center for Distance Engineering Education Program, as emulated classroom interaction through the use of real-time interactive satellite technology. And another one is one laptop per child in Maharashtra. So with this, some of the very important right initiatives, right, in this context. That is the mission or goal of a particular system is very much important, and programs and curricula, teaching learning strategies and techniques need to be updated and modified. Learning material and resources, communication and interaction, support and delivery systems, students, tutors, staff, and other experts, and management, housing, and equipment and evaluation. So this is very much important that the institution or the government will take care of this, and accordingly they can support this. So with this, some of the potential drawbacks I have just listed out, and because of the time constraints, I may not be able to go to the depth. You please go through it, right? So with this, national vision supported by coherent strategies and actions is the most important factor in integrating ICT in education. A successful implementation of ICT requires a strong national support from government and local support from the relevant institutions and education authorities. So with this, here are some of the points as a summary. You please go through it as self-explanatory, right? So with this, I thank each one of you for your valuable time and patience listening. I don't know how much I have covered, right? Maybe at any time you can interact with me, not only in the session, right? My mail ID and other details are available with the HRDC, right? In case if you are interested to know more about it, and if you found it useful, definitely you can interact with me. I try my level best to clarify your doubts and support you in any way as far as the technology is concerned. So with this, I once again thank all the participants and also the HRDC Center for having given me this opportunity to share a few points on ICT, its role in education and teaching learning process with you all today in this session, right? So if you have any questions or any clarification, please feel free for another 2 to 3 minutes. Otherwise, I will wind up the session. Thank you very much.